everyone. My name is Pete Hutwelker. I'm here representing the Point Pleasant Community Baptist Church and specifically the History Committee. And I'm here today present the Point Pleasant Time Travel program that we have just started. Today is March 27th, 2022, and this is the first presentation we're doing on Point Pleasant time travel. And I had a little bit of technical difficulty during the session, so I'm opening this video in my studio here, and through the miracle of technology, I'm able to edit and put together what I think is a pretty good representation of what happened out in the field. So in the church, when we did the presentation, I failed to follow the number one rule when setting up a camera, and that is to point it at the presenter. So you're going to see the back of me. But the interesting part about this whole presentation is that we wanted interaction between the audience and myself, and I think we got that, and I've tried to capture that. So let me get moving here. And what is Point Pleasant time travel? So what we've done is we've decided to create a mission in the village of Point Pleasant, Pennsylvania, to provide a forum and resources for the sharing and documentation of local history, and to educate others through historical research and experiences. We have a wealth of knowledge and information in people's heads. The seniors in this town have a lot to tell us. We have documents that people have collected over the years, and the church has a lot of documents that we have scanned. And so we are trying to put that together and so that it can be shared. So how does it work? Anyone can present with the approval of the committee. The History Committee is not going to run all these. We'll be there to oversee them, but we're looking for speakers and we're looking for people to participate. With our approval, of course, we want to make sure we're getting what information is of value to people. The presentation is limited to 45 minutes with a 30-minute open forum. And it could be 15 minutes, it could be a half an hour. It's very flexible. A committee moderator, probably myself, will oversee the sessions just to keep us on time and on track. With the permission, the presentation materials will be scanned or photographed by the church, and we're trying to archive some of this historical documents from the village. All historical archives will be accessible if you request them. Some of them will be published on the web. Video recording and or publication will be done only at the approval of the presenter. If you're going to present something of historic interest to the town, it's your choice whether we videotape it. We had a good laugh on that in the session. We don't obviously record video on tape anymore. Slides are not necessary. I'm doing a slide presentation, but that's not necessary. It could be a simple discussion, show and tell, whatever you want to do. Suggestions on all aspects of the program are welcome and encouraged. Anything that you think we could do to improve the program would be greatly appreciated. And the committee will provide refreshments. We had some wonderful peanut butter pie and some other stuff that the hospitality committee at the church has put together. So I'm going to try to bring in now the video live. So bear with me here.
So some suggested subjects. I'd love to get somebody to talk about the prehistoric area. You know, what was going on here before there was history? And we'll get Tom over there, and he might have a little bit of insight on that. Early inhabitants and native people, obviously there's so many subjects. First colonial settlements, the Revolutionary War. What was going on here in this area during the Revolutionary War? Hi, Patricia. Early trade and commerce, religion, obviously. Transportation, land, river, canal, rail. This was a transportation hub, so lots of things going on here, structures and architecture. And any suggestions are welcome. If you have anything of historical significance, just something that's kind of interesting to talk about. And so each month, we're going to do this. So each month there'll be like a minute or two for somebody to tell some little subject that's of interest. And Debbie's got something she wants.
Yeah, I have a couple. I'll do 2 minutes.
Okay, speak up.
Okay, I'll move you a little closer.
Okay.
So it can be about the community, it can be about you growing up in the community, it can be about the church. I decided to give a couple points from the church. This is the minutes from 1884 to 1936, and around 1885, I was looking through here for meetings. When we have a meeting here, we have a quorum, and before we can have a meeting. And I noticed in the book that they had a quorum too, but there was a list, a total of people, and then there was a list of 2 different groups. So who do you think were in those 2 different groups? Men and women? Yeah. We don't do that anymore. We don't do that anymore. And then as I was going through the book, I also saw that there were some members of the church that were fined $5. And $5, that was a lot of money back then. And it was something that they were doing during the service that people didn't like. Can anybody kind of know you would be? Can anybody think of me falling asleep? Creative. What did you say, Joe? Falling asleep? No, it wasn't that, but I know that does happen. Still does. Still does. Drinking? No. Tell you. Well, they were spitting or chewing tobacco. Oh, my Lord. I didn't look in the notes to see if they paid their $5 or they didn't come back to church, so not quite sure. But what I find, if there's what Andy's like, they're out. We don't have that problem anymore. So. Anyway, they're my minutes.
Thank you, Debbie.
Thanks.
There's a lot of things like that we find when we go through the old church minutes about people not behaving, caught drinking, meeting with somebody out of wedlock. And they were fined, and they were booted out of the church if they didn't pay the fine. It was pretty strict. So, let's talk about this area a little bit. The first landowners in this area came in the 1700s. I say landowners because there were people here before that, we all know that, but they didn't have a concept of owning land. And that's a subject that I'm sure somebody could talk about, is the Native Americans. Many of those immigrants were German and were escaping from Prussia, which was very fragmented at the time. This is a map of what we now would call Germany, and there were so many little, I would say, they weren't colonies, but what's the word I'm looking for? Territories. Yeah, and it was very territorial. And there, during the mid-1700s, there was terrible wars going on with Spain and France and England and Austria. It's not a very good place to live, so a lot of immigrants got out there. A lot of people left. So there was a wave of Germans that came in the 1700s. A lot of them settled in this area. This, obviously, is Germany, U.S., whoops. Yeah, so anyway, across the ocean, long ocean. But some of them settled in this area. Oh, let me just back up. This little circle here, the reason that circle is there is that is where Debbie's ancestors came from in the 1700s. They settled in Bedminster, the Ox. And Michael Ox settled up there. And we traced her lineage, all the Ox, right on through to her. And it started right there. There was a ferry in what we now call Point Pleasant. It was at an eddy in the river, which is right near where the creek comes out into the river. And it was called Black's Eddy. And I don't know why it had the name Black's Eddy. Is it Upper Black Eddy? I don't have an answer. Why was it called Black?
I learned this from the history folks that said Swartz's, it means black in German. So the Schwartz, if that's who owned the property, remember?
Okay.
Black Eddy, Black Eddy, it's Swartz's.
So you own both those eddies, right?
Schwartz means black.
Schwartz.
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay.
There was a brother of Mr. Black down here who was up in Upper Black area.
Okay. Very good. Now we have the answer to that. So this is my dialogue here. So a village developed north of Topeka Hill, which was called Point Pleasant. So there was Black's Eddy, below Point Pleasant, below the Tahepan Creek, which is where Kings Island is now. We have two people here that live on Kings Island. And that's where, I believe, that's where the ferry was.
Point Pleasant didn't come in existence until 1828 when they started the post office.
Right, that's what I
It
heard.
was always,
Yeah. So it was Black's Eddy, and then once the canal was opened up, it became all Point Pleasant, but it didn't happen overnight. I don't know, I couldn't find a date that said, okay, all of a sudden, there's no more Black's Eddy, it's now Point Pleasant.
growing up, it was always
Lower Black Eddy, or was it? Hotel. So, okay. Yeah, that was the mountainside, right?
and you refer to that in the town as the Lower Black Eddy.
Yeah.
There was never a post office that was
Black's Eddy. Okay, so Point Pleasant post office.
yeah, 1828.
And the postmaster is here to explain that to us. Thanks, Don.
See, Upper Black Eddy and Lower Black Eddy were both
Oh, okay.
two individuals.
Yeah.
Each one owned the hotel, and Upper Black Eddy and Lower Black Eddy.
Okay.
All right, now, Lower Black Eddy comes from my grandmother's mother and father who had the Lower Black Eddy.
Hmm. That's
That's on the black side of the back.
right. And that's the.
And then it was sold, and it was a few years, and then the Schneiders bought it, which came from Newark, so that hotel down there was owned by both sides of my family back through history.
Wow. Very cool. So this is an aerial view. I'm going to turn off the light if you don't mind. I don't think you'll go to sleep. I'll keep So this is an aerial photograph. There's a really great site. It's called Pen Pilot. If you want online, find Pen Pilot. You can get all these aerial photos going back to the 30s. So this one is obviously before 1955 because we can see the bridge. This is from 1950. And you can see here where the creek is coming in and the Delaware River, obviously. And Kings Island was not an island before the canal came. The canal kind of made it an island. And it's right in this area here. But the ferry was right in this area, I believe. Now the eddy was there. An eddy is where the water is circling around, creates a kind of a still area. And a lot of the reason it was popular with the logging industry, we'll talk about this, the loggers came down with their rafts, and they could park them there, and they could stop, and they would stay at the hotel. And
That's where the Eddy was, down by the hotel.
the eddy was by the hotel.
Another one to explore,
Yeah.
if you get and walk down on the river shore,
Yep.
between the canal and the river itself, and you go down in there, walk down there in the rocks, there is two great big steel rings about this big around, about 1 inch with every curve. And that's where the first raft will tie up to that first ring. And then every other raft comes down, and keep on tying on to it, and be halfway across the river, spend another night in and they were the lifeboats that was put on the ship.
Okay.
Yeah, and logs, I guess, a lot of logs are used to build ships and to build the.
That's what a lot of it, and throw it up and build ships.
So this is a example of the ferry. Now, this one's up at Bushkill. That's the only photo I could find of the ferry. And you can see how this is tethered across the river on a cable or a rope. And, you know, the guy would push with poles, or there'd be a rope to pole. There's different ways to do it.
The original road to Point Pleasant from the center of the township was in 1738, and it was down, so what we call a backhill ferry road, and went down and across to where the ferry was.
That windy part of the old ferry road.
Is that old ferry road? Yeah.
So it's really commerce in the area. Logging, log transportation, we talked about that a little bit. Rafting down the river. The milling, grain, wood, fisheries, netting, netting of shad. There's an example of a log raft. Like Randy said, it would tie these up there below the creek and spend the night. But there was hundreds of these coming down the river one time. The river would get plugged with them.
It's thousands that came in, like through the summer,
When the river was high.
in the.
Yep.
So like where they cut, and then,
All the way down the river.
and then when did they go to Philly?
Yep.
So where did those guys, they had to get back?
Seriously. They do. Brad went down to Philadelphia, and the people on the rest, they would walk back up to the covenant to where the water was at to get on another raft and bring it down. They walked the shortest way. They didn't follow the river, whatever. They knew the shortest way, and that's, it was fast, and that's the way they walked.
What was the shortest way, you know, just say it was a certain route?
They would, like, the mill here would buy a raft, and they would take it apart and bring it over to the mill to saw it into lumber. And out of the museum, they have the wheels that they would put a log up on it, and then the horse would pull over to the mill. And Lumberville, whoever they wanted to buy it, they bought it, stocked and all the sawmills that had a saw, that's how they got their lumber.
Yeah, we're back here. The mill back here.
One side there, usually, so the mill would meet the raft up at Black Eddie and decide whether he wanted to buy it or if they bid on it or whatever, I don't know, but that's where they usually decided if they wanted a particular raft.
Like the lot, what?
Yeah, like that.
So
And
that's.
they kept coming down the river until 1903. After 1903, that had to cease, because in 1903, a bridge went out again, or for the first time, and it landed out part of the little river out there, and steel stuck up through the water, and that hampered them from coming down through it, they couldn't get past it.
There's also, in the history, I remember reading, there's a book called Delaware River Stories, which is very interesting. And that when they built the canal and the aqueducts up by Easton, the rafts couldn't get through. And the canal people and the raft people had a big fight. And it was a big deal about, okay, who's coming through, the canal or the rafts? So the other thing about, as we discussed, mills, there's mills all around here. So milling was a very important industry here in the area. Chris Mills, this is the one out Cataloosa. And fishing was effectively then pulling in the nets. And so at a certain time of the year when the shad are running, they would pull the nets in and harvest the shad. And that was done by the Native Americans as well, I believe.
Would they salvage them? You would buy it?
Yeah.
A little comment that I heard from some, I worked in New Hope for years,
apparently a big fishing commerce back in the late 1800s was sturgeon. And it wasn't just shad, they were pulling 6-foot sturgeon out of the river. And what is now, which many of you may know as Frank's Diner, I don't know if it's still even operating right now, because they sold it, but that used to be where the fishery was
Okay.
for the sturgeon.
Wow, sturgeon in the river. So, yeah,
He has a story. I actually saw a sturgeon in the 60s from the Delaware Quarry's office. There was a half a dozen of us who had seen it. You could see the dorsal fin, and it was
in the water.
in the water.
Wow.
Yep.
It's supposed to be like a horse.
Yeah.
You know, the book that they are still in the, supposed to cut us out of the can.
It was always our dream to catch the sturgeon.
Scary. I have to early that world back there.
Yeah.
And they're eating fish.
Yeah.
I mean, it's amazing what they did, what they, you know, because there's a lot of
Clean them up. Yeah.
industry on
Now,
there.
the signature with that, my dad grew up at the mountainside down here. His family came from North New Jersey, like I said earlier, he was 12 years old. And he grew up down here in the mountainside. And when he grew up there, he also had a license for commercial fishing, which you had to buy. And they would fish at night, because when they fished with suckers and carp, they wanted to fish at night because you had 2 lines on top of the net. One was cork on the top, and the bottom was lead. And that's why it stayed vertical like this in the water. And the reason they did it at night, so the fish could not see to jump over the net. So they used to fish with lanterns. And I can tell you one thing, Joe Delbert was a boy at the time. People may know Joe now, but he's deceased. He was one of the lantern boys. And what you would do is, my dad had what they call a back tow boat, and it would be round on the bottom on both ends, and you would pile the net up on the back paddle of the boat. You would have 2 guys stand on the shore and get a hold of that, and they would row out into the river and come back into the shore and make what they call a haul. And then they would start pulling the net out of that. Well, you're sucking through a bottom fisher, which was very, very dirty. What they had is they had what they called live boats down here at the mountainside, which were concrete, which were built. They would take the suckers, put them into a wheelbarrow or 2-wheel cart, put them in that, and then put them up here in the concrete boxes so they could purge the mud out of the system.
Yeah.
My dad got in touch with a fellow out of Philadelphia, priest or whatever it was, rabbi. And he would come up to Point Pleasant with a live truck that had a tank in it. And then the rabbi would bless the fish and sell them back out to Philadelphia for gefilte fish.
Oh, that's great. I think that sounds like a great subject for a presentation. Trying to speed things along here, and I love these stories. But that's the whole idea. I think we need to say, okay, today we're going to be talking about fish, or fishing, or whatever. So thanks, Lane. Appreciate it. So I can't let you go without giving you a little history of the church. So I'm going to start with the basic history of baptism, or Baptists here in America. And so obviously religion was very important to the early settlers. They left their countries because they were persecuted for their religious beliefs. They were the religion ran the countries. You know, it was the Church of England and some of the other religions that were basically in charge of the country. They didn't like that. So they came here for freedom of religion, and that's why a lot of people came here. So the founder of the Baptist Church in America was Roger Williams. He came to England in 1636, and he settled and started preaching in Salem. And in Salem, Massachusetts at the time, the government was run by the Puritans, basically, and it was a very strict. And he became what's called an Anabaptist, which is a radical Protestant. You know, somebody that says, okay, yeah, I believe in your doctrine, but man, you're telling me what to do, and I don't like that. And so what he evolved from that is he he taught the principle of control through civil government, which we now know is separation of church and state, basically. Religion's not going to run the country. It's going to be a civil government. And the conscience of men, which is basically the freedom of an individual to hold or consider a fact, viewpoint, or thought, things we take for granted today, and be independent of others' viewpoints. If it sounds familiar, it has a lot to do with our Constitution today. Williams worked closely with the native peoples. The Puritans were not quite as receptive to the natives. And so, because of his beliefs, he was banished, and he went to an area that is now Rhode Island. And he was welcomed there by the Narragansett. And he lived with them. And he named that settlement Providence, and that's the capital now of Rhode Island. Anyway, many settlers followed him and enjoyed the liberty of conscience and the freedom of thought. Settlements expanded, and he founded Newport, Rhode Island, Warwick, Rhode Island. And from these settlements is what Baptist faith spread from. So basically, it established the ability of the little man to be heard and reckoned with. Up until then, the church really controlled everybody. That became the foundation of religious freedom. And I'm not saying that the Baptists were the only ones doing this. There were other religions as well who were trying to, recognize the freedom of people to practice their religion. In 1684, the Baptist Church was founded in Cold Springs, Bucks County. It's now called the Pennapack Baptist Church. It's in Fairless Hills. This is an older picture of it. This is what it looks like now. It's still there. So what happened here is in 1849, the people from Hilltown Baptist, Hilltown is here before we were, Hilltown Baptists were sending people down here to preach. And it got to be a real pain for them to come from Hilltown down here to preach. And they got enough following in the area that they founded at the time, Plumsteadville, the Baptist Church in Plumsteadville. And this is just an excerpt from our minutes over here that are on the...
It's Hilltown.
What's that, Hilltown?
Hilltown.
Did I say you
We said Plumsteadville.
Well, it was called the Plumstead Baptist Church in Plumstead.
That was the one here in Point Pleasant.
That's correct.
Right,
That's this church.
okay. The one was on the Plumstead side in the old school.
Well, it was on, that's correct.
Yes.
So, here's a little excerpt too. Ralph Stover, treasurer of the Point Pleasant Baptist Church, appointed by the trustees, July 8, 1852. Ralph Stover's in all these books. There's a lot of Stovers, and there's a whole bunch of Walter family, having been here for so many years. So the first meetings of the church were at the Plumstead, at the Riverhill School up on Ferry Road. I think most of us know where that is, Old Ferry Road, and there it is on the right. That was called the Riverhill School. And that's what it looks like today. It's hard to get a good picture because it's in the woods, but just look at how unwooded it is here. And so much of the property in this area was deforested. I mean, during the 1700s, within half a mile of the river banks, it was all deforested to build trees, or to build trees, build houses. And for farming, exactly. So, this is now, Kate lives up there.
Six days.
Well, Val passed away, and it's now owned by Kate O'Hare. So then, in about 1850, the congregation moved into the schoolhouse right over here. And this is a picture of it, one of the oldest I could find. This is when it was a library. It didn't become a library after it was a school. Here's a photograph of some of the school kids. Whoops. Yeah, so can anybody recognize anybody in that picture? That looks like a Walter to me right there. See? Anybody Probably the early 1900s, yeah.
Yeah, that was before.
Around 19.
So if you look at the end of the schoolhouse now, you'll see this brick, you'll see this brick steps and the railings. Take a look at them now. The snowplows hit them a few times, they're all curled up, it's a mess. Our plan, yeah. So our trustee chairman's here, I'm a trustee as well. Eventually, we're gonna replace those steps.
They're trying to figure out how to do it without making them stick out so far so they get.
Our thought was to just remove them and put in wood. This was originally wood steps. But we want to put some bollards out there to prevent the plows from creating damage. So we're going to get permits to do that kind of stuff. It's in the back of our mind. So eventually we will do that repair. This house, this building right now, we call the annex for the church. It's been the pastor's office for years. Pastors don't often use offices anymore because they're working remote and this new world, but we've kind of fixed it up as for our children. It's a schoolroom for Christian ed. So this church, this building, this construction began in 1850. The cornerstone was set in 1852. And over here, I was able to find, with the help down at the library, down at the University Library, a newspaper article from 1852 that says, laying of the cornerstone of the Baptist Meeting House in Point Pleasant. And it describes the setting of the cornerstone, which if you walk around the back of the church, you'll see it there. And this is the church, this is a great picture. I'm thinking this is probably from the late 1800s. And you can see here the trees and here the dirt road out front, picket fence. When we look through the historical records of the trustees of the church, they're really interesting. I could find where they repaired the fence and it cost 35 cents for the lumber. It's really interesting. They replaced the bell one time in the church, and how they got it up there, I don't know, but there's some pictures of the bell, which I can present later on.
That fence was part of Trombley's property, not the church.
Okay. Well, it was the fence up at the cemetery that they were repairing, sorry.
It was a big, beautiful garden of vegetables. I recall, and flowers all the way up to the big property, the big house.
We also have the documents that Ralph Stover sold the cemetery to the church. And we actually have back here, we actually have the original sheepskin deed for that. It's in rough shape, so I'm not going to take it out. It's back here on the table. I hate to even unfold it. It's really used. But we have it scanned, and yeah, so there was a lot of transactions that happened, properties. We ended up buying this house over here, which I guess was Trommer's at one time.
No, happy and nice life.
Well,
Before that,
The land was
yeah, the ground, the church, I don't think none more than maybe 10 feet past the building. And then it was the Trommer's garden that was behind that fence. Before that was, or before that was sold, and the house was built there.
So that's a little bit about the church. And then I got a couple pictures of give you before we finish up. There are a lot of these little ladybugs. Ladybugs. Okay. And then, so this is a great photo. I love this. This is looking down from Tohegan Hill. And you can see the church, and you can see the mill.
No trees at all.
There's a bridge. Yeah, see no trees?
You can see the end of the covered bridge over the river too.
Up here. Now, this, I don't believe this is not from the road that we know of now. There's another road lower down. I think it was a logging road or something, but obviously you can see that. I'd like to take a walk up there because this wall, the remnants of it are probably still there. So yeah, great, I love this
Was
picture.
that the road that Carmen was going back in there?
No, that's, yeah, that's the other side. It's down further towards the creek. I think it might be part of the trail.
It's
Down
almost like, so they can have a little.
Matt said that there were people living back there and the meat truck used to go back there. Do you
Mr.
remember that?
Schweitzer.
Yeah, this is why you, but that was down along the creek, that road went along the creek and then up the hill to what the Boy Scout camp.
So the other photo I have here, which I really like as well, this is another view from River Hill. And again, you could, if you're on River Hill anywhere, you're not gonna see a view of this, of the
So,
village.
you see the lime kilns there? Right there, you look at it, right there.
Right here,
There's a box in the road, I think.
the lime kilns,
Yeah.
okay. And Sherry said there's a lime kiln down by Kings Island.
Well, it's, across from the mountainside, what had been Applejack's boat ramp. Didn't you guys tell me that was the lime kiln down there by the river? Where the boat ramp was, the access, that, Dale Stalker used to have? Plants, yeah. Those were lime kilns down there by the river.
So you can see the nursery here, which at the time was probably not. John or Dean? Hey, Dean, when did Walter start the nursery?
There's a hall in 1930.
1930.
Yes, we started small trees
Okay.
on his in-laws in Princeton, and we bought the property in the 30s from John Clymer, who owned all that property. Some of it, yeah.
So here you can see the church and the village up this way. So that's it. That's what I wanted to show you today. I love the dialogue. I really think that we could go somewhere further with this. If anybody has an interest, I can actually help by making a slide show up that just kind of highlights some of the subjects you want to present. And so, yeah, nothing fancy.
So that's it. Thank you for joining me. And we hope you can make it to the next presentation. If you have anything that you would like to present, we would love to hear from you. You can send an email to info@ppbaptist.org. That's our website. And if you want to go to that's our email address. If you'd like to go to our website, it is www.ppbaptist.org. And if you go to the History tab, you can browse through some of the archived church documents that we've put up there. So thanks again for joining me, and we'll look forward to maybe seeing you on our next get-together, which will be April 24th, 11:30 at the church. And so hope to see you then. Thanks, everyone.